Okay guys, so this lesson I'm going to be talking about the PBQ. Okay, the question we're going to look at is how do I tackle the passage-based question? What am I supposed to do? How am I exactly going to do this? Okay, so this document which you can see here, after I finish annotating, I will send it to you as well. What you will need is your chapter 5 passage-based question. As you can see, what I have here is the thing that we have annotated before. Okay, so today I'm going to talk through how we are actually going to do the writing. Okay, now as I've said before, the passage-based questions about attention to detail, and we want to figure out what is going on and how can I show off my understanding of text. Okay, so let me just go through a few things. I will also demonstrate. Okay, I would just like to draw attention to what to do. Okay, this is what we're going to look at now. What do I do in a passage-based question? Okay, the first thing, of course, to do is answer the question. Okay, I'm going to take the optional question. Okay, so my question is, what are Johnny's feelings in this passage, right? Okay, so I know that, of course, if I look at a passage, if I just look at the first paragraph, Johnny, stop it, Johnny gasped between clenched teeth. Shut up, all about last night I killed a kid about last night he couldn't be over 17 or 18 and I killed him, okay? So on and so forth. So my first impression is that Johnny is afraid, okay? Or rather, if I can make it a bit more sophisticated, I can say is fearful, okay? Okay, so now I know that this is my answer. My answer is that he is fearful. Let me highlight it to make it clear what the keyword is. He is fearful. Of course, then the question is this enough? The question becomes, what is he afraid of? Okay, I might not be so clear yet. I know that he is probably afraid of the consequences, okay, and he's afraid of what he has actually done, so on and so forth. However, now I need to prove that Johnny is afraid, right? So what I do is that I select appropriate evidence. Now, what is appropriate evidence? It means appropriate indicates it, shall we say, it directly indicates and immediately indicates what you are trying to prove. So here, a good rule would be to quote 7 words or less. Simply because let me give you an example. If I only, let's say I say, okay, from the entire of the first paragraph, you can see that Johnny is very afraid, and I throw, say, this entire chunk in, then that won't make sense because then I'm just copying the passage, right? So let's have a look at the passage, and I'm going to highlight all those things which are showing that Johnny is very scared. So he gasped, he's clenching his teeth, he was blurting out, he was crying, okay? And I also look at what he says, okay? So I have a few things that I know that lets me know that he's scared. So Johnny is gasping. Sorry. Okay, I know that Johnny is gasping, so I can write that down. Gasping. He's gasped. Okay, he has clenched teeth. And he is crying. So, why did I pick these 3 out and not the words? Because all of them I can say something about. Okay, so if he gasps, what does that mean? He's out of breath. Okay, clenched teeth might mean that he might mean that he is very tense. And normally when you cry, it means that your emotions are out of control, right? Or they are overflowing, okay? So when I am able to explain all this, that is how I'm telling you meaning, how meaning is created, okay? Now, if I wanted to go a step further, I could even try to draw a pattern and show that all these three are actually from Johnny's physical condition. So as opposed to what he is saying, okay, I look at Johnny's body language instead of what he's saying, and I know that he is afraid, okay? So how do I explain this, okay? So I will explain something from the fact that Johnny gasped and that he has clenched teeth indicates that he's very tense, is out of breath. Of course, now this is just an indicator. What I want to do when I am explaining is tell me what does this indicate? It probably he is very high strung right now. Johnny is high strung. He is keyed up, right? He's very, very physically tense, and that is probably, and then I can start telling me this is because now I could do two things. One of them, I could say this is because Johnny realized that he just killed somebody. Yes, but that is telling me what the passage says. But that is because Johnny is struggling to accept the consequences of his actions, okay? And now, if I just say that Johnny killed a boy, then I am simply repeating myself. I'm just telling the story. But here, because I am trying to prove fearful, and then I'm trying to show that he is very high strung, he's very tense, right? He's out of breath, all this kind of thing. And that is because he's struggling to accept the consequences. Now that makes sense. That is why Johnny is fearful. And that is how I make sure that whatever I'm saying, is coherent. Okay, there's a single line of thought running through it. Okay. Now, for those of you who would like to push it a bit further, okay, beyond this, I would like you to try to explore how does this contribute to the overall meaning of the text. That is to say, this is a passage, right? So let's say now I have the outsiders, and I have chapters 1 to 12, and each chapter is made up of a little scene. So if you think about it, every little scene contributes to the meaning. So in the introduction, it sets things up, at the climax, it highlights certain things, or when we see the scene between Dally and Dally and Johnny in the hospital, that says something else. Okay, so in this particular scene, in this particular passage, what is the passage saying about the text? Okay, so it is like, for example, let's say I have a pizza, okay, and there's an overall pizza flavor, okay, but if I have pineapple, okay, what does the pineapple add specifically to the pizza? Maybe some juiciness, maybe a dash of acidity, so on and so forth. Okay, so the overall meaning of the text. So here, of course, what are the key ideas of the text? Of course, we have talked about them, right? What are the themes of the text? We know that it is brotherhood. What else? Sorry, I forgot you're not there right in front of me in class. Family. Okay, it's about struggle, it's about society, it's about class. Okay, so what is going on in this passage that tells me about all these things? Okay, does it say something about the condition that they are in, or the struggles that they have, so on and so forth? Okay, so that is how you can do it. Okay, your task is to simply answer the question. One last point, I would like to point out what I did here. How many pieces of evidence did I have? I had 1, 2, 3. Actually, this I quoted 3 times, but actually all this are just part of one point, that his physical condition. So if I wanted to continue to prove why Johnny is so fearful, I could look at so one of the things I looked at was what his body is like, right? His physical reaction. But maybe my second point could be about what he said. Okay, so my 2 points would be physical condition as well as what is Johnny's thinking, and all that will come together to show me that Johnny is fearful. Okay, so please, this is not comprehension where you just give me one piece of evidence. The more you can tease out, the more layers of meaning you can put together, the better your analysis will be. Okay, now I would just like to address some things about what not to do. This is very important. Now, just a note of caution. If you do this after I've said not to do it, you are either not listening or you're just being stubborn. Okay, it is difficult, it is new, but you should still avoid all these things. Okay, the first thing you want to avoid is lifting. If you are simply copying indicates a lack of understanding. Why? Okay, for example, let's say I was last time when I was a student, my mother tongue was not good. Okay, so when I didn't know how to do, I would just copy the whole paragraph into the answer, which obviously indicates that I don't understand anything. Okay, so if you are copying, and if you are, then you are not doing anything lah. You are just lifting. Okay, and that will simply give you a 0. Okay, it will drop drop your comprehension grade. So what is the fix? You need to pay attention to detail. Pay attention to appropriate evidence. Okay, spend the effort to pick out the most important things. Okay, also don't paraphrase. If you find that you are repeating yourself, if you are not saying anything new, what do you need to do? You need to rewrite lah. You need to think about, what am I writing which is wrong? How can I improve my writing? Okay, simply changing the words. Okay, if you say something, Johnny is fearful, then you say this shows that Johnny is afraid. No, that is not showing anything new. Okay, you need to tell me something new. Okay, neither do I need an essay on reporting and narrating the story. Okay, what you need to assume, the reader knows the story. Assume the reader knows exactly what is going to happen. I know every single detail. What I want you to tell me is why those details are important and how those details work. Okay, I do not need you to report the story to me. I have the book. What I don't have is I don't have your understanding, your interpretation of what the book is saying. Okay, so I hope this is helpful. The homework is, of course, to go and write this and submit it on Google Classroom. Okay, thank you. See you.